Peace and love, family. All glory to the Creator. I just want to share some words of wisdom. Um, like, what really bothers me, it really bothers me with these politicians. They sit up and they talk about how they want to make things better for the people. Let me tell y'all something. It's nothing they can do to make it better. It's up to us. It's up to all of us to come together and make a stand and make a change. It's nothing that political system can do. All they want to do is bring corruption. And another thing I want to touch bases on is how a lot of people are blaming white people, so-called white people, for everything that's going on. You know, there are white people I know that are against the genocide of people of color and against the genocide of the indigenous people of this continent. And I understand that years ago, which segregation and racism still goes on today, whether you believe it or not. But back in the day when it was very, very open, um, I could really understand why we would feel the way we would feel. Or when you look at TV, you see racism within everything: the acting, movies, the music industry, and all of that. But when you really look at it for what it is, and you become spiritually awake, there are people of color working right along with the so-called white man or Caucasian. There are white slash Caucasian people working against their own kind for the genocide that is being thrown against the indigenous people of this continent. You know, if we're going to tell a story, we need to tell a full story. There were white slaves as well. You know what I'm saying? There were people of color that were enslaved, but there were white slaves too. You know, everywhere I go, when I get around people of color, it's always, oh, the white man this, the white man that. He did this, he did that. Well, guess what? Learn what you can learn about your culture. Learn what you can learn from the white man, and you learn from what you learn from yourself spiritually, and you add it all up together. When you see that something is not right, you learn to stand and make a change for yourself and share that knowledge with others. You know? But also, you need to talk about what black folks done did to black folks, because it was black Europeans coming up here killing black Indians. Or shall I say black indigenous people. They was in it too. So, all of this trying to blame one race of people, you got to stop that. Because I know some people that's against the genocide of what they're putting on us. And keeping it even more real, family. Just looking back in my life and people I've dealt with and did business with, I've never been the type of person that use people. I always give. I always, encourage people. I try to love everybody the same and give everybody that same love and respect. I mean, I know you got to deal with some people differently because everybody different. Some people you can't do business with. But I just try to love everybody. Now, looking back on doing business with different race of people. Okay, well, I'm around a lot of Spaniards. Well, today called Mexicans. I'm around them a lot. And we have good business. We operate together. And it's nothing but unity. Okay. The Caucasians, the white people, so-called white people. I can count on my fingers maybe 5 people out my entire life of so-called white people slash Caucasians have gotten over on me and tried to use me or beat me out of my money or something. Now, as far as the so-called black people, which is some of the indigenous people and some of the descendants of the black European, we don't just say black people. I don't have enough fingers and toes to count how many of them have gotten over on me when I've treated them just as well as everyone else with love, kindness, and respect. But I'm not gonna let just because one person mistreat me or try to use me change the way how I feel or treat others. I'm not gonna be that way. Because when you begin to grow spiritually, you begin to look at things from a spiritual point of view, not just that physical body. You know, like I said in the beginning, there are so-called white people that are against this genocide system. And there are blacks, you know, if that's the correct term, European, descendant of the black Europeans, or however you want to call it, and some of the indigenous black people that go along with the corruption of this system. So it goes back to me saying this. You keep blaming the white man for every single thing. But what are you learning for yourself? Huh? What happened to the unity we had back in the day when our parents and grandparents was coming along? They stuck together through a lot of things. And like I say, I tell people this at work: stop watching that TV unless it's educational. Watching them crazy shows and reality shows, if nothing is benefiting you spiritually, you shouldn't even watch it or have any dealings with it. Like, for an example, family, and this is the way I live, and I'm just gonna keep it real with y'all. Where I live at, I only deal with people when I need to. And when I say when I need to, it better be important. If it's not dealing with business, encouragement, prayers, or helping someone, or dealing with indigenous history, indigenous meetings, anything like that, then there's no conversation. There's no conversation. I keep it extremely short. That's just how I live, because you keep unnecessary stuff out of your life from infiltrating negativity within your spirit. You know what I mean? And people of color, everybody know what I'm talking about when I say that, because we all have them family members or those people in our lives that bring negative energy our way. Well, why not chop it up by saying, okay, well, if you come by my house, if you need me to pray with you and for you, that's fine. You need that encouragement? Come on. If it's business, come on, let's do it. But the unnecessary drama, leave it out my door. You can keep that. I'm not with it. And family, that's just keeping it real. That's just keeping it real. So let's tell a full story, not a half a story. And there's still a lot I got to learn. It's still a lot that I have to learn. Tons of a lot that I have to learn. And to be honest, family, if you ever get to meet these people, Phoenix Moon, she's an amazing lady to learn from. Our indigenous sister, she shares lots of knowledge, and I learned so much from her. And Ron Skyhand, Chief Skyhand, I learned a lot from him. He just shared some amazing knowledge on how the indigenous tribes was in the city where I live today. And he broke it down as to how we're related and who we descend from. And I really appreciate Chief for sharing that. I appreciate that. But we have to learn to just grow more. Learn from one another. Stop just thinking you know everything. Stop it. Yeah, you learn for yourself things that other people don't tell you, but you need to listen to what other people are saying. That's how you can identify things that is wrong. And that's why I say, if you hear me say something wrong, I hope that y'all will give me correction so I can fix the problem and fix my train of thought on a little problem that I may have had of understanding something, What else would be nice to touch bases on? Giving wisdom on. Family, learn to also embrace your natural beauty. Your natural beauty, because it's a lot of things that's going on that I can see that's tearing us down, from these chemicalized lotions, chemicalized shampoos, chemicalized everything. We have to come from it. Um, Even to what down to what we eat and drink, y'all. I know I talked about this in that last video, but I just want to share with y'all that I drink lemon water and with cucumbers added to it. And right now, I'm currently on a fast. I'm fasting to grow more spiritually, and I'm fasting in believing and praying for a family member that's in the hospital right now. Another thing, the medications that these doctors are giving you. I don't know if I said this in that last video. I probably did, but I'll say it again. Stop being hooked on this drug medication that these doctors are giving us. Turn to herbs. I mean, I can tell y'all this. When I was at my job, I hit the back of my hand right here. I hit it on a pallet. I hit it on one of those pallets really, really hard, and it was cold. And I was still working on it, and it was swollen I'm not gonna lie to y'all, it was swollen for weeks. And I never got it checked out. I was like, man, I ain't no wimp. I'm a man, I go to work, I can take it. Well, I ended up like, it's this stuff called moringa powder pills. I don't know, I forgot where it comes from. I think it comes from China. It's a leaf, or may have come from Africa or something like that. But it's a leaf. It's a herb. And I'm sure it may be here in America, my indigenous continent. But the moringa powder pill is a high dosage of vitamin D, potassium, and iron. Well, if you take up to 3 pills, that's like what, 13 to 1500 milligrams, and it shows it on the paper, or whatever. But just keeping it real with y'all, I started off taking 2 of them. But then I went to taking 3 of them. And I kid you not, where my knuckle is here, where I hit my hand, it doesn't hurt at all. Now, I did go on YouTube and find this. I seen different people sharing the video of how it cured their arthritis. It cured other little diseases that they had dealing with the bone and regrowed it or something. But, well, after I started taking it, the pain stopped. And as I kept taking it, I kept feeling the pain trying to come back, but it just couldn't prosper. And I took in, I just kept taking it, 3 pills every day of moringa powder pills. And I kid y'all not, for maybe 6 months now, it does not hurt at all. It doesn't feel like I've even hit that knuckle. And y'all know your knuckle is a funny bone. Your knuckle is a funny bone. Like your elbow. You know it's going to hurt if you hit it really, really hard. And when at the time it was cold too. So when that cold air hit it, it will hurt. So I figured it may have cracked the bone. But that moringa powder leaf pill obviously it healed it. So I say that to say this as well. People that have arthritis, you may want to try that. Look it up. I'm going to try to put it in, if I can remember, y'all. I'm going to try to put it in the description box under the video. I'm going to try to do that. And hopefully I remember. But let me see, what else, y'all? I'm just trying to think. It's a lot of things I needed to share with y'all, but it'll come to my mind. Let me see, what else have I been doing to make a change that I want to share with y'all? I've been, speaking with the ancestors, and when I say ancestors, I'm speaking about the people who we descend from that was here many, many years ago, that the Creator gave knowledge to them for generations for us to learn from one another. Let me see what else. And just family, just we just have to get it together. We just have to get it together because I see so much nonsense every day, even when I'm at work. Everywhere I go, it's nonsense, and I see how brainwashed people really are. I see how brainwashed a lot of people are, and they have no idea that curses come in many, many different forms. People think because they do go to church that there is no curse. Let me tell you what the curse that it is. Um, when you have someone teaching you something there, and all you're doing is listening, and you're taking that back and believing in it, that is a form of a curse, as they say, witchcraft. But that's the bad part of the craft. I'm just gonna say that. That's the bad part of that curse, that craft right there. Because we all should be willing to learn these things and learn of the Creator for ourselves. Not for someone, but for ourselves. And once we learn from ourselves, we can teach others about the goodness of the Creator. Let me see, family. Um, what else would I like to share? Um, in the deal about the border, they're trying to send the Mexicans back to Mexico. Let me tell you something. That's the dumbest thing they could ever do because, family, if you pay attention, there was a lot of unity between different ethnicities that mixed within the indigenous tribes that got along and worked together. And I'm sure there were some that may have went against it, but they got along. How can a immigrant of European descent come here and make changes and tell those people, those Mexicans, that they have to leave? Let me tell y'all something. North and South and Central America, all the way down, is together as one. If you ask me, they're together as one. That's the entire continent. But they just brought division, from my understanding. They brought division between it. How can you come here and send them there? Some of them wasn't even born there. Let's go back to the definition of an American in that Webster's dictionary. How it talks about it now as applied. An American is now applied to the Europeans that are here in America, born here in America, or whatever. Is something wrong with that? Why not start off with you and your own folks? Get y'all together because you are on land that don't even belong to you. Even though other ones help you take it over. But, family, what happened to that deal called unity? We gotta stop being weak. We gotta stop that and really start becoming warriors. So family, I guess that's it. I'm gonna leave it off on that note. So oh, and also family, y'all need to start doing your genealogy. Start doing that because 2020 is coming. They're talking about taking Negro off of that census. They're talking about shifting if you have colored, black, or Negro or whatever on your birth certificate. They're shifting all of those people into the category of African American. And that's wrong. And a lot of you are just walking around proudly saying, oh, I'm an African American. I am so proud of it. I'm an African American. But let me ask you this question. Now, if your mama, daddy, and grandfather and them were indigenous natives, Native Americans, and you go up the line, it was Native American, how all of a sudden you become an African American? How? How did that happen? Where did it come from? Now I will say this. Now, who knows? You may have had a mom that was from Africa or dad from Africa, and you may say, "Hey, I'm an African American." Go ahead, you can claim that status because that's where they were from. But a lot of these people in America that are of color have no idea what they're doing to themselves when the so-called black people are not understanding what they're doing to themselves by just saying that they're African American and they don't even have proof of that. You know, and who knows? At one point, it may have been one landmass called Pangea, but my main focus is where I'm from, which is this continent, and learning my culture, learning what I need to learn, and not trying to learn someone else's culture. You know, and I'm gonna be honest too, family. It does make me feel some kind of way for some people. They say, "Oh, if Mexicans, blah 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 blah." It really makes me feel some kind of way because, like I shared in that video when I said, colored on your birth certificate, you're the Indian or whatever. Um, my dad's dad was from South America. He was from South America. Everyone else in my family is from North America, but he's the only one from South America. So that means that I have North and South America or Central America, or whatever, blood running in my veins. Um, I seen, I'm not gonna say where I saw it at, but I'm just keeping it real. But I seen where a lot of people say, "Oh, f them, f that," and blah blah blah. And I'm like, y'all, stop it, stop it, stop investing time in trying to battle like that. Focus on what you need to be focusing on. Yeah, there were ones that came at me and tried to tell me, this is what you are, blah 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 blah, and I told them, those fake native wannabe natives, that I know exactly where I come from and I know who I am. I don't need you telling me who I am. You need to learn who you is. And I stood bold in it and I left it alone. They ain't came at me since. Don't start nothing, won't be nothing. You know what I'm saying? But I'm attending my business and doing what I need to do to learn my culture and learn more of Mother Nature, learn more about my family. You know what I'm saying? And back to the disrespecting the Mexican thing, because I never seen my dad's dad. They had a picture of the man, and everybody can tell you that that man looked like a Mexican or a Puerto Rican. But all we knew was that my grandmama said that man was from South America. So I have that blood running in my veins as well. So I have maybe two cultures that I have to, learn. Even though I did say earlier that, North and South America all together as one. But, each tribe have a different language and all of that is what I'm saying. So have different things that I would have to learn. So you just have to be careful in what you're saying. Invest your time in understanding you, yourself, and your culture and your family. Invest time in that. Now, there are other things that we are coming up against, y'all. They got the flu shots, they got the education system changing, they got many things changing. But it's up to us to stand against that. We got to stand against it, family. So, like I said, just try to stay focused on learning who you are, because if you're not focused on learning who you are, you're learning the wrong thing. The wrong thing. And I see a lot of people out of their mind, out of their mind, they done lost their marbles. They done lost it completely. But I just pray to the Creator that He opens the door for them, and that they're willing to allow the Creator to become instilled within them so they can learn who they are, if that makes sense, family. So family, I'm gonna leave it on this video on that. And So I'll be explaining some other stuff later. Whatever the creator gives me. Peace and love.